Good evening. My name is Lucia. I am majoring in chemical engineering on a pre-med track.
Good evening. My name is Ava Adam. I'm majoring in neuroscience and behavior with a minor in compassionate care and medicine.
Hi, I'm Colleen. I'm a science pre-professional major.
This semester, our RARE project group had the opportunity to research FOXP1 syndrome. To understand the scope of our project, it is first crucial to understand what FOXP1 syndrome is. Biologically, the human genome contains about 20,000 genes, and each gene codes for a different function in our brain and our body. FOXP1 syndrome is caused by a genetic mutation in the FOXP1 gene and typically manifests in children. This disorder leads to various developmental, behavioral, and even physical defects, including things like heart conditions, autism, ADHD, or speech impediments. Currently in the United States, a code database exists called the ICD-10 code database that assigns certain numbers to a variety of different diseases and conditions. This code database provides clinicians and families with things like insurance, research, clinical testing, and treatment options. However, as of now, no code exists in place for FOXP1 syndrome. As a result, this is a huge detriment to families as they lack things like insurance coverage, or children diagnosed with the disease, for example, lack the resources for things like speech therapy. As a result, our project is focused on bridging the gap between families diagnosed with FOXP1 syndrome and the resources available to them.
The bulk of the first part of the semester was dedicated toward creating an ICD-10 code resource document. Within this document, we broke down how the International FOXP1 Foundation would be able to achieve an ICD-10 code. We used resources and synthesized information from the National Library of Medicine, as well as researched peer-reviewed journals and articles, and more. So who is this ICD-10 code resource document for? It is for the International FOXP1 Foundation. It is a nonprofit organization founded by families who have been affected by the disease as they have witnessed what it can do in their loved one. Because we have been collaborating with them, they also tasked us to work on an infographic. So within our infographic, which the content will be discussed in Colleen's slide, we have been able to break down complex ideas, complex genetic ideas, and break it down into digestible language that the families can understand. We also opted using Canva for our design and tried to stay with the blue and orange theme of the FOXP1 Foundation, which contributes to a more polished and professional look. It was also important that we were able to make the font size larger because people with FOXP1 typically have a hard time with central vision loss or even problems with their iris. We tried to make it accessible for them as well.
As mentioned earlier, when families receive the diagnosis for FOXP1, they experience many problems. And also due to the lack of the ICD-10 code for FOXP1, the healthcare system has no way to diagnose the disease, and that can lead to a misdiagnosis. So that being said, our team created 2 different deliverables. The first one, as Ava mentioned, was the ICD-10 resource guide. In that, we had an overview of the ICD-10 code creation process, and we described the current state of FOXP1, along with outlines from other rare disease organizations, and we provided external support systems. This was to be used by the IFF internally. And then we also created an infographic, as Ava said, and that one is to make it so it's more accessible to families and more comprehensible by these families because, I mean, obviously it's kind of hard to understand it right away, but we were able to make it easier for them to understand. And together, these tools can create better advocacy, better knowledge, and better awareness about FOXP1, so the next child who receives the diagnosis can be treated in the way that they should be. Thank you so much.